Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'm bringing you another triple reaction and lyrical analysis to 3 songs today. We're going to first start out with I Want Your Sex by George Michael. The only other George Michael song I know and have listened to, I'm sure you guys can guess, Careless Whisper. Outside of that, I've never listened to any other George Michael, so it's going to be fun to hear more from him today. Then we're going to take another step deeper into the world of Madonna with her song Human Nature. That's going to be fun. And then we're going to end the reaction off with Waterfalls by TLC. I hope you guys are excited to listen to these songs alongside me today, but before diving into this, let's please thank Frank the Operatic for making this donation request today. And Frank dedicates this to everyone. He says, Dr. Ruth told me so. Now, let's jump in. Super, how can I say, super like effect driven. I had no idea his voice sounded like this, because in Careless Whisper his voice is a lot brighter. This almost feels like a bit of like a nasally delivery here, a bit like he's kind of closed his throat slightly. I love the simplicity in this, like, in this beat, honestly. The breathy delivery here. Don't listen to this around your parents. Oh, interesting layering right there. The vocal layering, that was unexpected. Why don't you just let me go? I like to try. Oh, I'd really love to know. When you tell me you're gonna regret it, then I tell you that I love you, but you still say no. I won't tease you, won't tell you no lies. Don't need no Bible, just look in my eyes. I've waited so long, baby, out in the cold, but I can't take much more. It's just like a chill jam somehow. Which is not what I was expecting necessarily. You know, like, because I listen to a lot of Prince on the channel, and, you know, I can just imagine Prince and the way that he might, you know, write a song with a title like this. Very energetic, very potentially like chaotic in terms of its instrumentation. This almost feels very like almost like too relaxed for what it's talking about, though it's very bold and catchy. In terms of like musicality, it's rather simplistic. Not that there's any like problem with doing that, it's just like an unexpected stylistic approach to a song like this. Because you may expect like saxophone, more strings. It's all of the things, we just have to do it. What did you write there? Monogamy? In lipstick? Why did you write that? I see. So this song is about monogamous sex. He's like, yeah, sex is the best. He's made the claim that sex is the best when it's one-on-one. Which nobody asked if it was the best or not. He just kind of brought that to our attention. That's funny. What is this? Some of these effects I'm unable to place. Ooh. And now we get the moans and the grunts of sex. It's like the ultimate song to try to like rizz up the girl you're on a date with. Like, doesn't it make sense? We should just do all of this convincing and sing it to you in this very direct way, and then won't that work? And I guess there's no implicit problem with being direct, but oftentimes in flirting, the art of flirting is that it's all indirect. It's all like, oh, is he down? Is he not down? Is that a signal? Is that a, there's a bit of like that song and dance that goes with it rather than being so upfront. It's different approaches, right? Different strokes for different folks. My girlfriend loves to say that. Explore monogamy. Interesting that seems to be like the takeaway message from this one. I want your sex, but I want your sex only, exclusively, and I'm making that a major point of the song. Not what I was expecting at all from George Michael. I was expecting potentially more saxophone, more sensuality in like strings. This was like a very rhythmic song with a lot of syncopated musical elements, but I think what is most standout about this is his vocal delivery. Very breathy, a little bit constrained, right? If you kind of squeeze your vocal folds together. Interesting, that's for sure. I would have to think like, what environment would I actually use this song in? Because it doesn't feel sensual enough for me to put it in my like, sex playlist. But it is still like a fun, chilled jam. I don't know. Let me know what environment this song works best for you. But now we're going to jump into the lyrical analysis. And for all of the 3 songs today, we are going to be doing a... I don't know why it's not appearing. One moment. We are going to be doing a lyrical analysis. So if you want to skip ahead and go to the next song, the Madonna track, you can do that as well. I'm going to figure out why this is not showing up on the screen. Okay, I fixed the issue. So let's jump into the lyrics here. There's things that you guess and things that you know. These boys you can trust and girls that you don't. There's little things you hide and little things that you show. Sometimes you think you're going to get it, but you don't know, and that's just the way it goes. It's kind of like, this to me indicates like the subtlety of sex, of flirtation. Sometimes you think it's on and it's not on, and through the song and dance like we spoke about, you can arrive at some at least mutual understanding as to whether or not you two like each other in that way. So I swear I won't tease you, won't tell you no lies. Don't need no Bible, just look in my eyes. I've waited so long, baby, now that we're friends, Every man's got his patience, and here's where mine ends. I wonder how this song would get like received in today's climate, because I know there's a lot of like people who cancel a lot of different music of old that is deemed problematic or even misogynistic. I don't know what this would be viewed as here, but this idea that like the man here is waiting for his opportunity to quote unquote strike, because he's had this like infatuation or lust for this woman all along, and maintained a friendship with them to only spring the idea on later that they're actually into that person sexually. And sometimes this happens when you like do it in an organic way. You naturally discover that you are romantically interested in the other person. But I think oftentimes men will knowingly go into friendships with that feeling that I'm using this friendship to crowbar my way into something sexual. And that is very manipulative when the person on the receiving end views that relationship as being platonic, and you're actually at the outset also conveying your conveying the idea that you are only in it for friendship, when in reality that is the deception, that is the trick. So it just depends on, I guess, the subject in this case. But I want your sex, I want your love. He's now putting it out there. He's no longer keeping it to himself. It's been playing on my mind, dancing on my soul. It's taken so much time. So why don't you just let me go? Let me go is interesting. It's either like let me go in the sense of like free me from the not knowing of the answer, or let me go like let me off easy. Like if you don't actually want me after I've kind of made my intention clear, just let me go right now. Cut it off early and quick before I, get hurt. I'd really like to try, or I'd really love to know when you tell me you're going to regret it, then I tell you that I love you, but you still say no. Wow. Again, there's a lot of like trying to convince the other person. And for me, I kind of view it as if you're having to convince another person that you want, that like they should have sex with you, likely they don't feel that way as enthusiastically as you do. And to me, a lot of like enthusiastic consent matters a lot. So, you can, I guess, have your own opinions on what the convincing process ought to look like, but he still really wants to know. And this girl is now telling him, I'm going to regret doing this with you. And he's like, well, maybe we could work it out if I say I love you, but at the end, you could still reject me. I swear I won't tease you, won't tell you no lies. Don't need no Bible, just look in my eyes. I've waited so long, baby, out in the cold. I can't take much more, girl. I'm losing control. It's like, I'll be honest with you up front about my feelings towards you, but at this point, I've been waiting for so long. I don't think I can handle it. I don't think I can be any more patient. I want you now. And there is something very, again, seductive about being wanted in that way, where it's like uncontrollable, but you have to balance it against, well, does this person actually want you for real? Just because you don't have impulse control doesn't make it the other person's problem. You have to check yourself as well and make sure that, again, you have that correct understanding of what another wants from the other. And then we get the repetition here. I want your sex. It's natural, it's chemical, it's logical, habitual, it's sensual. All of like the ways that sex impacts us, right? It's human nature. It's a chemical process. The oxytocin that's released. It's logical. It makes sense that we do this thing. It's habitual. We do it all the time. It's valuable. It helps alleviate some of the stresses of our day to day. So if you incorporate it in your routine, you can be better off for it. It's sensual. There's just so many reasons he's providing, all in an effort to convince the other that it's worth doing. Sex is something we should do. Sex is something for me and you. Sex is natural. Sex is good. Not everybody does it, but everybody should. Sex is natural. Sex is fun. Sex is best when it's one-on-one sex. And then here's where we get to the monogamy bit, which is funny to just bring that up in a way, but more importantly, it's just, again, he's kind of hammering home the point that like there is a good reason to do sex. And I don't know why he's barking up the tree of somebody who's, let's say, this, if he's having to do this level of convincing, then my guy, it's probably not worth pursuing that particular person. Granted, this song is probably written in a very, again, different social and cultural climate. I think these days people are more open to discussions about sex and what it means to people, what it means to relationships, and how best to navigate those conversations. Certainly looks different now than it did in the past. So if I'm using that kind of, that like historical context, this may be a very like groundbreaking song for the time. I think nowadays, like, I think most people who keep up with, you know, social conversations probably have thought about all of these things already. So maybe that's part of what I'm missing here in this like interpretation, is that it is from a different time. I'm not your father, sex. I'm not your brother, sex. Talk to your sister, sex. I am a lover. Yeah, don't put me into any one of these other roles of being your father, brother, sister. Like, ask the people who are near you. No, like, treat me as a lover rather than something other than that. Because if you can view me through the lens of sex, then things don't have to be as contentious in this regard. We can just kind of explore those feelings, explore the emotions we have around it together in an open way, rather than being like overly restrictive. But, you know, that's why I kind of view it as like, if somebody is just, if they have like a different value system to you, and sex is something that matters to you very greatly but may not matter to them in that same way, does it make sense to continue pursuing that individual? You can put your intentions out there, but you should do so first and foremost. And then if they don't happen to accept your advances, respectfully back off. I don't know. So, you know, take all of my thoughts for what they are in reference to this track here today. But again, my first foray on the channel into the world of George Michael. Maybe we can check out more of his work later down the line. But now it's time for some more Madonna. Let's jump in.
Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Express yourself, don't repress
She's got the latex on.
Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Express.
They're slowly opening her up. Oh my god, very sexual already with the BDSM kind of attire.
Yourself, don't repress yourself. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. It's human nature. It's human nature. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. It's human nature. You wouldn't let me say the words I long to say. You didn't want to see life through my eyes. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. You tried to shove me back inside your narrow room and silence me with bitterness and lies. Express yourself, don't repress yourself.
She's saying repeatedly, express yourself, don't repress yourself. And in this, you know, taking the, I guess, the theme of the reaction, seemingly human nature, our sexual urges, if you can express yourself earnestly and honestly in this way, rather than repressing yourself, you don't have to feel as much shame as often society puts on us for just feeling natural human impulses and sexual urges. We can just become more into our own rather than having to constantly tear bits of ourselves out. Don't repress yourself.
Silence me with bitterness and lies. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Did I say something wrong? Oops, I didn't know we could talk about sex. I must have been crazy. Did I stay too long? Oops, I didn't know I could speak my mind. What was I thinking?
I like the vibe of this one for sure.
I'm not sorry. It's human nature.
like the ropes and chains. I don't know if YouTube is going to allow me to post this necessarily, at least the visuals here. But then a lot of like BDSM imagery happening.
You punish me for telling.
And of course, with the idea of like BDSM, oftentimes this is the next level to like vanilla sex. So whatever we view sex, that lens is already very restrictive, because people have, you know, like sex is a very taboo subject. Even these days, I think, though the conversation has been opened up more, it still is very taboo to speak about in an open way. So what would be even more taboo than just vanilla sex? It would be BDSM sex. So she is really putting putting like the most potentially contentious versions of sex out there. So, you know, it's one of the reasons why art is such an important thing, because it allows us to at least have the conversations about the way in which we view ourselves in society and the directions we ought to move.
You punish me for telling you my fantasies.
Punish me by
I'm breaking all the rules I didn't. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. You took my words and made a trap for silly fools. You held me down and tried to make me break. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Did I say something true? Oops, I didn't know I could talk about sex. I must have been crazy. Did I have a point of view? Oops, I didn't know I could talk about you. What was I thinking?
oh my god.
And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
It's human nature. It's human nature. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. It's human nature. Express yourself. Don't repress yourself. Express yourself. Don't repress yourself. Express yourself. Don't repress yourself. Express yourself. Don't
Ooh.
repress yourself.
It's a really cool beat, honestly.
Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Did I say something true? Oops, I didn't know we couldn't talk about sex. Must have been crazy. Did I have a point of view? Oops, I didn't know we couldn't talk about you. What was I thinking? And I'm not
I love how just open she is about it, and she's directly combating the shaming that is often put out there by media, by people, about expressing ourselves in a sexual way creatively, just being different, and again venturing into these taboo subjects, rather than, you know, constantly being affected by the shaming tactics, by the fear and the dissension and the judgment. Just embrace it, that people don't necessarily agree with certain things, and have the conversation openly nonetheless. And who knows, you know, how mindsets can change societally and across time through generations. But it starts with one conversation at a time, one mindset shift at a time. And for me, I'm somebody who very highly values openness. At least in terms of discussion, you should be able to talk about everything in a very respectful and honest way. And even if you disagree, that's okay, because we can still at least talk about it. Because of course we always need to be able to talk about the things that matter and affect us. It's the only way to make it through this thing. The only way out is through. To, you know, deny, to put things under the rug, it's just not a good like rhetorical approach, not strategically. I don't think it actually affects the change that, let's say, dissenters of this kind of conversation would hope. I think it just holds us back more than anything.
about you. What was I thinking? And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. It's human nature. It's human nature. And I'm not sorry. I'm
I'm seeing like she's even being strung out in this like star formation. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with anything. It's just interesting.
I'm not your bitch, don't hang your shit on me. It's human nature, and I'm not sorry. I'm not apologizing.
Also reminds me a bit of The
It's
Matrix,
human nature,
with the cornrows look.
and I'm not sorry. You're the one with the problem.
You're the one with the
Bitch,
problem.
don't hang your shit on me.
Why don't you just deal with it?
'Cause I'm not sorry.
Would you like me better if I was?
It's human nature. It's human
We all feel the same way.
and I'm not sorry.
I have no regrets.
I'm not your bitch, don't hang your shit on me.
Absolutely no regrets.
No regrets. That's got to be made into a GIF. Hold on.
No regrets.
That is so goofy for no reason. Let's jump into the lyrics here. I'm down to talk about this more. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. I think this is just obviously repeated, so it's important from that intuitive perspective, but I think the majority of our focus should just be on this idea of what does it mean to self-express and to not repress. And I think we just all feel this innately, but if you're unable to put yourself out there in the ways that you truly would like to, in whatever environment it may be, because of some social pressure, that is a version of self-repression and keeping yourself, your true identity, who you really are, your authentic opinions down. And I think if you do that over the course of a lifetime, you either A, delude yourself into believing the things that you've repressed yourself to think and feel and the ways you even behave, or you know the entire time that you are doing this delusion and you are like repressing yourself, you're not being true to yourself, and you feel this constant inner turmoil. I always err on the side of just being as honest about everything as I possibly can be without, being disrespectful. I try to be respectful in all the ways that I can, have humility where I need to, show my empathy where I need to, and, continue to improve the human that I am so that no conversation is, fearful for me to enter. Because I've held a lot of shame about so many things in my life. It's not worth doing that. I can speak to that example anecdotally, but I know shame is not a thing that we all want to feel on a day-to-day basis. So she follows it up, and I'm not sorry. I'm not going to apologize for expressing myself, for being who I am. Otherwise, I'm going to constantly apologize, and that's not a life to live. Just accept who I am, and if you don't like it, then move on, and we can, find the people that work well with us rather than trying to make everybody appreciate the self and repressing ourselves to make others more comfortable. It's human nature, right? Sex is human nature. We need it to reproduce and propagate our species, and it also just happens to be something that is bonding, that feels amazing, that, all George Michael's reasons, habitual, logical. And I'm not sorry. I'm not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. Yeah. Like whatever you feel about it, whatever you feel about sex and human nature and how you should express yourself, don't impose your worldview on me. It's okay for you to have your perspective, but if you're impacting my freedom of choice, that's when the issues come. And depending on how you view society's role, you'll have different opinions on this. But for me, I'm a very free thinker. I think as long as what you're doing is not hurting another person in an active and direct way, it's probably fine. And we can discuss that more, but of course it's a one-way conversation at the moment. Wouldn't let me say the words I longed to say. You didn't want to see life through my eyes, right? I had to repress myself, and you didn't want to show me any understanding or empathy. You tried to shove me back inside your narrow room, right? Your restrictive view of sex is your restrictive view, not necessarily mine. So keep it yours. And silence me with bitterness and lies, right? Oftentimes the place that it comes from, this narrow view, is not one of empathy or understanding or just agreeing that, oh, we can be different. I can be more repressed. You can be more, more open about it. It's, no, you're wrong and you have to do it my way, and I will be bitter about your life choice, and I will lie even to make you change your ways. It's not the way to do it. Did I say something wrong? Oops, I didn't know I couldn't talk about sex. I must have been crazy. Did I stay too long? Oops, I didn't know I couldn't speak my mind. What was I thinking? I love like the sarcasm baked into all of this here, because we all know, I mean, I guess I should say we all know, people are allowed to have different opinions on different things. It's just, we're all too different from each other to expect anything else. So if you're suppressing thought and conversation, it makes no sense. If you believe in freedom of speech, for example, suppressing speech, that's your play. You don't live by the values you purport to have, if that's the case. I'm trying to read through the lyrics and not miss things that are unique here, because there's a lot of repetition in this. You punished me for telling you my fantasies. I'm breaking all the rules I didn't make, right? Again, it's this idea that people just have their view of what sex ought to be, and the moment that I divulge the things that are personal to me about sex, instead of you being open and, you ask the question, now you're chastising me for having your own restriction. It's foolish. It's illogical, to be honest. You took my words and made a trap for silly fools. You held me down and tried to make me break, right? You tried to change me. You tried to, what's that term? Proselytize, something like that, but more coercive. Oops, I didn't know. I think this is repeated here. Did I have a point of view? Oops, I didn't know I couldn't talk about you. What was I thinking? And I'm not sorry. Again, a lot of repetition here. Repetition. I think the entire rest of the song here. Oh, here we go. A bit different. Would it sound better if I were a man? Right? Oftentimes, too, a lot of conversations about sex are taboo because a woman is speaking about it rather than a man. It's a lot of the baked-in misogyny that exists in conversations like this, and maybe just in society as a whole. So if I changed who I am to fit your narrative, would that make this conversation more palatable to you? The fact that I'm a woman is making this intolerable, is causing you to have your bitter response? Maybe, but even for me, I think that people have a deeper hatred of openness in sexuality. So though I think this would be this is a valid point as well, I think it can go deeper than this too. Just look in the mirror. Yeah, a lot of repetition throughout this one, repeating the lines like, I'm not sorry, I have no regrets, it's human nature. Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Just be free-flowing. Don't be so restrictive. Don't attach your ego to these things. I know that wasn't spoken about directly in this, but that's something that I certainly think. Oftentimes, people who are extremely moralist and view life through a very narrow lens won't allow for other lifestyles, ideologies, thought processes, behaviors to exist at all. But then those same people claim that they want others to be free in their own expression. You're just not. You're saying one thing, you're doing another. But there's another cohort of people who they don't even care about being able to freely express the self. They would rather you modify your behaviors fully to their view, and that would, be a version of fascism if applied fully politically as well. But a lot of what happens socially, culturally, trickles down to politics as well, and informs the way that legislation is passed and how governments change their view on certain social matters. Things that are taboo, they're taboo because people have a lot of diverse opinion on it, but don't actually know how to have the respectful conversation around the taboo issue. That is the core problem, in my opinion. It's not the fact that topics are taboo. It's that people do not know to or care about how to have the conversation in a respectful way where disagreements are likely, and that can be okay still. Most people treat each conversation as life or death and attach their ego to the outcome of it. And if I cannot convince you of my way, then you clearly are a flawed human to your core, rather than recognizing the differences in opinions that exist. I think this is just a fundamental flaw and bias of a lot of humans in general, and it manifests itself into these contentious topics. I don't know. It's going to take a lot of undoing of problematic human behavior. And for me on this channel, I preach peace, love, and positivity with the hope that people can start exemplifying those values. And, if those values are being held in high esteem, conversations that happen after the fact can be more free-flowing, can be less pathological, more open, more empathetic. I don't know. There's a lot of societal problems we are having to deal with right now. Let's just try to make things better one step at a time. Let's jump into the last track here, Waterfalls by TLC. Nice bass.
Lonely mother gazing out of the window, staring at a sun that she just can't touch. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be by his side, but he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. But all the praying just ain't helping at all, 'cause he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So we go.
Because the mom has all of these dreams for the son, wants the son to be safe and have that loving mother-son relationship, but he's constantly putting himself in dangerous situations where she will invariably worry, and the cycle continues on and on.
Out and he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body laying cold in the gutter.
Oh, no.
Listen to me.
Another body laying cold in the gutter. So he's literally involved in a lot of crime. And her spirit is trying to stop him and push it and hold him back from this life of crime. Oh. And her soul is crying. Ooh. Gunshot sound, knocked out. Stole his thing.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way or
Interesting.
nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast.
So there's a lot of different ways that, the son, the abstract son to the abstract mother could go astray in his life and kind of test the mother-son relationship, a life of crime in the first example, or if the son is being completely led by lust, then he may not see that a certain relationship is problematic for him in the long run, and the mother may be able to see this and discern more readily, is the son going into this relationship for the right reasons or not? And if it's not, and you can't actually make a definitive statement as to if this person is good for you truly for your future, then of course the mother looks at that as another risk. And I guess men too love to take risks in general. We are more willing to like jump down that waterfall rather than stay in the calm, tranquil lake or river. So a mother always wants to keep her children safe. And I know this, even my mom, she's always telling me like, you should drive slower, you should not take this risk or that risk. And oftentimes that, apprehension that they have about the way you live your life, it comes from that loving, nurturing place. It depends on the level as to if it is overbearing or not. And that could be a discussion we could have too.
His baby is good to me. One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but he doesn't recognize his own face. His health is fading and he doesn't know why. 3 letters took him to his final resting place.
3 letters. Sex. S-E-X. Those are the 3 letters. Kind of looks like Jared Leto. Or Joaquin Phoenix.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast.
These visuals are wild.
Come on. I seen a rainbow yesterday, but too many storms have come and gone, leaving a trace of not one God-given ray. Is it because my life is 10 shades of gray? I pray all 10 fade away, seldom praise them for
A lot of
the
swag in this
same.
delivery.
And like his promise is true, only my faith can undo the many chances I blew to bring my life to an end. Clear blue and unconditional skies have dried the tears from my eyes, no more lonely cries. My only leading hope is for the folk who can't cope with such an enduring pain that it keeps them in the pouring rain.
We haven't spoken much about the musicality, even like across these tracks like I normally do, but I'm liking in this one the utilization of the bass, of the brass as it kind of like accents certain beats in these measures, and then juxtapose that with this specific like rap delivery. It's all a very interesting mix here.
For the folk who can't cope with such an enduring pain that it keeps them in the pouring rain. Who's to blame for two and gain into your own vein? What a shame, you shoot an aim for someone else's brain. You claim the insane and aim to stay in time for falling prey to crime. I say the system got you victim to your own mind. Dreams are hopeless aspirations and hopes are coming true. Believe in yourself, the rest is up to me.
Yeah.
Go chasing waterfalls.
I love that message at the end there. And now the spirit of the son regretting missing the mom. Yeah. Beautiful song there too. There's definitely something to be said about doing things in life that are just risky, dangerous, and parents oftentimes they have that foresight, they have the experience, they have more just worldly knowledge that their children don't necessarily have. And, when you're young, you have a lot of energy, you have maybe a lot more testosterone. You're willing to take more risks and maybe discount the messaging from your parents. And I do believe that this is a kind of perpetual dance that happens between parents and their kids, and over time we grow closer together as the kids age and grow more experienced themselves. But you still don't want your kids to make such life-altering mistakes that they can't recover from in an easy way. And in this example, she was trying to prevent him from entering a world of crime, and it cost him his life, not listening to her opinion, or trying to prevent the son from engaging in a relationship that would be problematic, and that can destroy your life. At least if I'm interpreting that kind of second story correctly. Let's take a look at the lyrics here. A lonely mother gazing out of her window, staring at a son that she just can't touch. Not just literally, right? But touching his soul, getting to true understanding and maybe convincing him of the path forward. But she's unable to do this. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be there. She'll be there to support him when he's down. But he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. Just because she'll be there doesn't mean you're doing right by her. You may be actually taking advantage of her love for you, her emotional care towards you. But all the praying just ain't helping at all, because he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So he goes out, he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body laying cold in the gutter, listen to me. He heard the advice, did not internalize it, continued on his path, took the risks, and now he is just another statistic, another lost life. And it's tragic, and so many parents do their best to shield their children from these kind of risks and this life, and are unable to. And oftentimes, children who end up going down violent routes, they don't necessarily even have parents who have this level of care for them to push them away from that path. Oftentimes they're just on their own. And I think societally we have an obligation to try to improve everybody's conditions, because why else are we in a society if not to improve the betterment of all that who inhabit it? Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're just moving too fast. The waterfalls, there's a lot more energy, right? The conversion of potential to kinetic energy, but back to potential at the bottom. You don't have to be all about the hustle and bustle, move too quickly through life. If you take things more slowly, in a more deliberate way, more measured, you can slowly but surely discover who you are, what your values are, what may be right for you, rather than chasing the quick buck or the hedonistic pleasure. And it's hard to tell kids and those who are just full of energy to be more patient, because they want what they want now. And I'm, of course, guilty of wanting what I want right now. But as I grow older, I'm at least starting to empathize more with the plight of parents and the things that they say, why they say it, and it comes from a good reason. And now I have the tools conversationally to be able to navigate those conversations, even if there are differences in opinion, right? But I'm not trying to, go down a life of crime, so those conversations look very differently. Little Precious has a natural obsession for temptation, but he just can't see. She gives him loving that his body can't handle, but all he can say is, "Baby, it's good to me." Like, this relationship is just sex rather than a true emotional connection. One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but he doesn't recognize his own face. His health is fading and he doesn't know why. 3 letters took him to his final resting place. Y'all don't hear me? This was a little bit ambiguous to me. I wasn't exactly sure how the health fading came into play. If it was like something to do with drugs, or simply just not taking care of oneself in the context of a relationship, and just only valuing the relationship for sex rather than, let's say, the fulfillment that a loving relationship can bring. Because of course, if you are in a toxic thing, emotionally you may be suffering despite you receiving sex. It is just not worth that trade-off, especially when the alternative is available. And what is the alternative? Where you have sex and you love each other and it's healthy for you, right? Y'all don't hear me? And then the bridge, the wrapped bridge here. I see a rainbow yesterday, but too many storms have come and gone, leaving a trace of not good given ray. The past was fine. It was looking joyful and hopeful, but now life keeps beating us down and things don't look as good. Is it because my life is 10 shades of gray? Well, I pray all 10 fade away. Seldom praise him for the sunny days, and like his promise is true, only my faith can undo the many chances I blew to bring my life to anew. Right? Talking about one's faith and bringing back those sunny days rather than being perpetually stuck in this spiral to the bottom. Even though I've had opportunities to improve my life and I haven't taken them up every single time, I pray that there will be another so I can recenter. Clear blue and unconditional skies have dried the tears from my eyes. No more lonely cries enduring pain that it keeps them in the pouring rain. Yeah, like this is the bright future where we no longer pain and no longer cry. Who's to blame? It's a shame. You shoot and aim for someone else's brain. You claim the insane and name his day and time. Falling prey to crime, I say the system got you victim to your own mind. I love this discussion here, because who is to blame? Is it the parent's fault? Is it the child's fault? Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it some combination? And as the parent, you do your best. You try to, distill all the positive values that you have in the life that you think they should live. But at the same time, the kids are going to have their own opinions. And if they apply their own critical thought, they may move in a different direction. But again, the hope is that they're not falling prey to crime and terrible things that really tear apart at the seams of family and society. Because you can still be free and do other things, but, some things are just not good to do, if that's like the most lukewarm take I can give. Dreams are hopeless aspirations and hopes of coming true. Believe in yourself. The rest is up to me and you. Victim to your own mind. I love that line. And the idea of these dreams, right? You have these visions for yourself, but none of it is going to matter unless you believe in yourself. And to believe in yourself is to love yourself, is to do the things that are good for who you are. And parents hate to see when a child is not doing what is best for themselves. Even if in the short term or midterm, they may not agree with the specific actions you took to get to a place where you believe in yourself and you do the things that are right for you. If what you're doing is patently wrong, then it won't work in the short term and long term. But if you decide that a different pathway will lead you to that place, your maturity should shine through and be at least somewhat of a branch to hang on, some solace for the parents that this child has their own life in their own hands and will do right by them, even if mistakes are on the table. So there was a lot that we, discussed in these 3 tracks today. In the first 2, a lot to do with sex and how we view it societally, how conversations about it should happen. Why is there so much shame around it? These taboo subjects. Again, at the very high level, I think we should be able to discuss anything openly and freely and respectfully. And if there are differences, we can discuss those, and maybe we still agree to disagree, but that is a far better conclusion to arrive at than not being able to speak about the issues at all and constantly imposing one worldview over the other. One of the biggest red flags that I ever kind of see in terms of like interpersonal dynamics and relationships is the incessant need to be right rather than to reach understanding with another. The need to be right, it is fueled by ego, it is problematic, let it go. And then the last song here, the mother trying to shield the child, and that balance of how much freedom can the child have for themselves and how much mothering and nurturing and shielding can the mother do, and what does this balance look like? And if it goes too far out of whack in one direction, the child suffers immensely and therefore hurts the family as well. We want to find a middle ground where the child is not doing things that are too crazy and are still able to explore themselves in a very healthy way. And I think it just is case by case. So there's no real prescription that I could give as a 28-year-old, but these are just all my opinions here. Let me know what you thought about these 3 songs today, or the thoughts around the meaning of these tracks. Be definitely curious to hear your perspectives. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did and would like to make a reaction request yourself, whether it's more Madonna, more TLC, more George Michael, or really anybody else for that matter, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.